got the bedding and I stretch before I wash my face. To survive, about to take him to another place. And she said I'm Superman to a Lois Lane. It's out of game, no wise enough, they need to clear the way. You gotta go, but to achieve it, you gon' need some faith.
Things are getting interesting in UFC. Welcome back to Off the Bench. My name is Jorge Pajarez, joined as always by Roland. This podcast is, as always, sponsored by Diplomacy Clothing. Negotiate with style with Diplomacy Clothing. Get your face masks, urban clothing, everything. Support black businesses. Support Diplomacy Clothing. Check them out on Instagram at Diplomacy Clothing. For YouTube viewers, their link is in the description below. Roll UFC 250 just happened over the weekend. Amanda Nunes came out victorious. Although it was a decision in the 5th round, she did win against Felicia Spencer.
Yeah, and it was a decision, but let me tell you, anyone watching that fight can tell you, there wasn't much of a decision to be made. I mean, credit to Felicia. I mean, she went out there, and she's a tough fighter. I was actually having a conversation with one of my coworkers. He was like, man, I can't believe Amanda Nunes didn't finish her. And I'm just like, you got to understand, Felicia's the same person. When she lost to Chris Cyborg, it's not like she went out there and, I mean, she fought, you know? She's a fighter, and she's very gritty. I didn't think Amanda Nunes was going to finish her off if it wasn't by submission. I just couldn't see Felicia getting knocked out or anything. But everyone got to remember, she's like 82. You know, it's not like this girl's out here losing. It's not like she's nobody. You know, she's actually a top of a line featherweight contender. So, I mean, again, tip the hat to Felicia, but this just goes back to show, George, how dominant Amanda Nunes is. I mean, Amanda Nunes, if we're talking pound for pound fighters, she's right there with the guys. Like, I can't remember which UFC fighter or reporter said it, but they said Amanda Nunes should start fighting guys because it's not even close anymore. Like, literally just out there whooping girls' asses. And I'm just like, you know, like as a man, can you imagine watching your girl get her ass beat by Amanda Nunes? You can't do nothing about it. Think you're just in there watching it, like, wow.
She's been on a tear.
You know? Yeah. I mean, it's just so terrible. So, I mean, but Amanda Nunes is dominant. I didn't expect her to lose. Fast performance. She even let Felicia, I don't know if you've seen the highlights, George, but she let Felicia put the title over her shoulder, you know, for a split second, you know, as like a class act, you know what I mean? And they joked around a little bit. About it, but, you know, Amanda Nunes is, I think by far, she's the greatest female fighter of all time.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go out and say she's easily top 5 among combat fighters I've ever watched. She's truly great.
That's mighty praise for Amanda Nunes. Going down the card, Rafael Asuncao. I'm butchering the name.
Tough last name.
Versus Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, Cody Garbrandt.
Cody won via knockout in the 2nd round.
With a second left.
It was perfect timing, and Garbrandt came out really strong out of this one. Roll.
Yeah, I definitely think Garbrandt established herself now as an actual bantamweight contender. Now you can decide, you know, I don't know how many people were, you know, viewers watched the fight, but it was a pretty back and forth decision. Not like Cody Garbrandt, if they was to go to decision, was automatically going to win. I think it was going to be a split decision either way. I had it 2-1 Garbrandt, but some people could have had it 2-1 Rafael. So, I mean, I would have understood if Garbrandt was on the losing end. But, I mean, the way the knockout itself was pretty classic. It was very, very, I can't his name. His name not coming to mind right now, but from a heavyweight. And the way he just knocked him out, he just walked off. Like, he knew he wasn't getting back.
He knew it.
He caught him with that hook, and it was a good night. You know, that was all she wrote. Great performance by Garbrandt, and I mean, is it too soon to start talking title contenders?
Ooh.
I mean, we're you know, I don't think it's necessarily too soon to be talking about that, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Cody Garbrandt, after losing 3 straight, decided, hey, you know, let me drop down to bantamweight. Let me test my luck there, because not like he was upright losing to these guys, but you know, he was losing. And if you look at his stats, George, against Rafael, he had 1 knockdown, obviously. Total strikes he was leading in that percentage. Significant strikes he was leading in that percentage. Neither one of them took each other down. So I mean, it was a very typical Garbrandt fight. A lot of beating and banging. Again, great performance. I think Garbrandt could see himself in a title contender match here shortly. I don't think it'll be a title match immediately, but he'll definitely be a name James is going to keep his eyes open for.
For sure, definitely. I'm gonna try to get his name right too. Going down the rest of the card, Aljamain Sterling versus Cody Sandhagen. I believe Sterling won that in the second round.
Sterling won that by submission.
Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin. Magny came out via decision in the third round. And Eddie Wineland versus Sean O'Malley. O'Malley won via knockout in the first round.
The Sugar Show.
So overall, how would you grade this UFC 250?
I would honestly give it about an 8 out of 10, George. And a lot of people the big knock when Amanda Nunes, no disrespect to Amanda Nunes, because you already heard me just say top 5, pound for pound fighter, I believe. And no disrespect to Garbrandt or Rafael or anybody who was fighting on this card, but anyone who was watching, if you was to preview this card before it actually went down, the biggest knock about it would have been, wow, there's no really star power on this card. No, and there's no disrespect to the smaller weight classes, but nobody seems to really grasp to the smaller weight classes. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson was dominating the flyweights forever, for literally forever, and he was headlining Fox, but he couldn't headline pay-per-views, so nobody could care less about a flyweight. So I was a little intrigued to see how a card with Amanda Nunes at the headline and Cody Garbrandt's bantamweight, debut, and the fact that Sean O'Malley he wasn't even the co-main event. His fight was literally the first fight on the pay-per-view. Right. He went out there and absolutely Eddie Wyman, great fighter, got that old liberated. It wasn't even close. So overall, you can be like, yeah, the show didn't have star power really, but if you want to watch old-fashioned great UFC fights, look no further than 250.
That's solid grade for UFC 250. But that's in the past now. We got to move forward to fantasy, and by that I mean UFC Fight Island. It's been announced on the day of this recording, June 9th, that Dana White on First Take, they have that ESPN deal, UFC and ESPN. So he decides to go on First Take and reports Usman versus Burns, Volkanovski versus Holloway 2, and Jan versus Aldo are going to headline UFC 251 in Abu Dhabi on July 11th for Fight Island. Roland, what are your thoughts? This is real. It's happening. States are reopening, but the UFC, Dana White says, no, I don't care. We're having Fight Island for my international fighters.
I don't know if you've seen his take on First Take, George. Did you? I don't know if he did or not.
I saw bits and pieces of it.
I loved his counterpart to Dominique. I believe the question was directed towards Dominique. Brought up something about why some of his USA fighters weren't fighting, and he made the point of, I can't burn out my all your US talent, because if you look at it, he's been having to use them a lot more because a lot of people can't make triple. So there's a lot of fights that can't be done in the United States just due to nobody can get it. So George Usman Burns. Now that's gonna be something to watch. That's gonna be a show there. The card when he was talking about it, I was struggling at first because I didn't know how, because he presented it like it was a three event thing there. Fight Island. They're gonna have multiple events. That's all I'm saying. Great. Great. I'm feeling it. Everything he's saying, I'm feeling it. But I'm kind of trying to figure out, all right, so are we having 3 star-studded events, or is it 1 star-studded event, and the rest is kind of like fun, good fights, but not, nothing over the top. Because I would love to see 3 different events on Fight Island, but 3 different titles on the line. And, every card is stacked. And I think he did a great job with this card because he got a lot of great fighters on it. And I knew Usman, he had, it's interesting because before the fight was confirmed, he said they just got that deal done for that fight right before he hopped on First Take. And I believe first take shot like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. So they got the deal done relatively early in the morning. And before that, everyone was trying to figure out who's Usman going to fight. They're going to be Masvidal. Will they do Kobe again? Diaz, McGregor. You name them. People were trying to figure out who's going to be fighting. And then Burns' name started to come up, and a lot of traction started to come from it. And credit to Burns. He earned this fight. I think he's the right man for the job. I don't think he could have went in there doing an immediate rematch with Kobe. So and Tyron just fought, so you couldn't do that. I don't know, nobody wants to see a trilogy of Woodley versus Usman, but the fight itself makes sense. The card is stacked. I know I'm only speaking on the headline, but that's a big fight. Anybody in the UFC who watched the UFC knows that's going to be the slobber knocker, potential fight of the night. I'm excited.
Well, you mentioned that Dana White did say it was going to be multiple events in Abu Dhabi. So right now he said that 3 more fight dates are announced for July 15th, July 18th, and July 25th. And this is the same location where they had UFC 112 in 2010. Now, this is just the 3 headlining fights. We could have a ton more added on to the card. And we don't even know what the other 3 events are going to entail. Like you said, hopefully it's those big money belts that we're going to see. And this is mostly for the international fighters that aren't able to go to U.S. events.
Maybe we can get we can possibly get Stipe DC here. Any other, like I said, international fighters. This is their chance to get on the card here. And Holloway and Arvelovsky, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. That fight is gonna be crazy. Because if anyone's seen the first fight, nobody expected Max Holloway to get beat up. Because he's just such a tough dude. If I see the dude on the street, I'm not fighting him. So he's one of those guys that I'm just like, man, and I'm excited to see that rematch. I honestly believe, George, they could have probably did that to headline like another one of those, like the 15th show. Maybe that could have headlined that event. Which leads me to believe maybe they have other title fights led up. Because if you got 2 title fights on that one card, you have to keep up the momentum. And that's the very first. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the very first that that's going to be shown. That's on the 11th and 10th, right?
Yeah, this first UFC 251 is going to be on July 11th.
11th. So you got 2 other shows following. You have to have some type of big fights to go off. Now I don't know if Dana's still in the works on trying to get those fights booked, which I imagine he is, because I'm sure if he already has something booked, he would have said it. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure things are still in the works. The thing with all these cards is that they're always subject to change.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I really liked about Dana White is the whole coronavirus testing, where he said that Abu Dhabi is going to have a 10-mile radius from everyone else on the island, so no one else can come in.
It's their own little spot.
And that's great, and they're going to be testing out regularly leading up to the fight. And you know what? Like it's more stuff like that I enjoy. Just the other day I was reading the Premier League, who we talked about before, who starts on June 17th. They've been doing weeks and weeks of just testing all their players, and none of their players have come up positive. So hopefully Dana White does the same thing with this island. Everyone is going to stay in that area. They're going to have secluded areas for the fighters, commentators, referees, all to be in this area. They're all going to be tested. So, it's a good step forward, especially in sports with the COVID era. Speaking of sports in the COVID era, the NBA is back, Roll. The NBA is back. For Knicks fans, who cares? But for everyone else, NBA is back. July 31st. We talked about it earlier in our previous episodes. Orlando is now the confirmed location.
Yes.
The Board of Governors approved that with quickness. I think it was damn near unanimous that they voted it back.
Yeah.
So this is how it's
I was just going to say real quick, George.
Yeah, go ahead.
Credit to Adam Silver, because he came correct with his deal. He came correct with everything lined up. And I heard they're still working on how they're going to do the bench situation. Because obviously, you're not going to be able to have those 12 people sitting on the bench.
And
So
that's the thing too. Like they just had a proposal on how to get the NBA back. They just finished talking about the coronavirus testing. They're still talking about how to bring in bench players. Like, this is completely different from Major League Baseball, who's throwing different curveballs on what different issues, how many games, BS after BS excuse as to why they can't get the deal done. NBA said, this is what we propose. Do you dig it? Yay? Nay?
Yeah.
And everyone just said yay. Except for Portland for some reason, because apparently they don't want to fight for a playoff spot.
Yeah, they don't want their 2 additional teams in there with another chance of losing. So,
but this is the deal: 22 of the 30 teams are going to go to Orlando and compete for the playoffs. 8 seeds from both the East and the West are going. They're confirmed to go. 6 more teams, so that's 16 from each side. 8 from each side, 16 total. 6 additional teams got invited: the Trailblazers, New Orleans Pelicans, Sacramento Kings, the Spurs, Phoenix Suns from the West, and the Washington Wizards from the East. So they're going to continue the season as if whatever schedule was going on by when we ended, that's how they're going to continue. And if there's a team that wasn't invited, they'll just add in a different team. They'll just switch it up to whatever teams are available in Orlando.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting take that I think they're gonna depending on how it goes, more than likely they're gonna pick it up for the future years. If the number 9 seed is within 4 games of the number 8 seed, they're gonna have a best of 2 series where the number 8 seed only has to win 1 game
once. Yep.
And the number 9 seed has to win 2 games in a row. Well, 2 games. It doesn't have to be in a row, but they have to win 2 games.
I think that makes it fair, though. I think it does, but it doesn't. And hear me out.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you're like, say, Phoenix somehow, right? Makes it to they have to play the 8th seed. Now I can't remember exactly how many games back Phoenix was of that 8th spot.
I think the limit is 6. You have to be less than 6 games back.
So let's assume they're about 6 games out. Theoretically, I'm not saying they were mathematically eliminated because they weren't, but they would have almost needed to win more than they couldn't afford to lose more than 2-3 games.
Yeah.
Which
right now they have to play 8 games to finish out the regular season.
So I'm a little bit I agree with the how if you're the 8th seed, you have to be rewarded for already being the playoffs. It makes sense. And then if you're the 9th seed, you have to beat that other team twice. I mean, you have to make it fair somehow, I guess. So, I mean, at least we're not doing a whole 7-game series for the 8th spot. I guess they decided we'll do 2 games if the 9th seed wins the first one. But, I mean, I like it. I think Adam Silver came correct. I think he already knew what he wanted to do when he brought it to the table. You mentioned baseball. And, I mean, obviously, they got a lot of issues going on over there. But the NBA is not over here trying to cut everybody's salary in half, and force them to go out there and play video. So, I mean, much credit to Adam Silver.
The playoffs are going to be regular, just after the play-in game that would take place August 16th through the 17th. The first round starts regular 7-game series August 18th. And then it just goes on until the finals would start September 30th. And then Game 7, theoretically, if the finals go 7 games, would end before October 12th. So now this is picture perfect for the NBA. And then because it ends on October 12th, Adam Silver said that the 2020-2021 season would start December 1st. So you get about a month.
Not the Christmas date. Not the Christmas date that everyone thought.
So, and we talked about it before starting the season around Christmas. But now you give your team about a month, and I think they pushed the draft to October 15th, I believe.
Yeah.
And free agency starts soon after, I think on the 16th or the 18th. But still, you have that month and a half of free agency and the off season of the NBA, and then it's right back to business. And then we'll see how the condensed season from December 1st to June, whenever, pans out. But as of right now, this is great. I mean, you get Zion Williamson playing again with the Pelicans. You got John Morant playing again, trying to increase the chances for the Grizzlies to stay. You have the Trailblazers and Dame Lillard with Melo and CJ McCollum trying to get into that playoff spot. And the Suns, of all teams, are still in it for some reason.
No, the Wizards somehow are still in it. I mean, I would have been perfectly fine if they said the eight teams from the East already locked in. I would have been perfectly fine.
I would have been fine with that too, because the Wizards, looking at that team, I think there were 5.5 games back, so they just made the cut.
Yeah, they just made the cut. John Wall already said he's not coming back. So any hope the Wizards fans had, it's already disappeared throughout the,
So I hope Wizards love Disney and Magic Kingdom, because that's where they're going to be spending their time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Get very comfortable.
But I'm loving this format, and it just upsets me so much that MLB would not look at what UFC is doing, and look at what NBA is doing, and look at what all these other sports are doing. And mind you, the players of the NBA already took, I think, a 25% cut because the season had to end earlier.
Yeah,
and they missed the months of the playoffs that were meant to happen in April. But the players are like, "Yo, we want to play. Like, let's play. I want to get back on the court." And people want to finish their season. Players out here like, "Oh well, Rob Manfred this, Rob Manfred that." Like, bro, at some point you have to play, or else if you don't play, your stock's already been going down the past couple of years. Your stock are gonna plummet. No one's gonna care about baseball anymore.
George, after our last episode, I had gotten a couple of friends that called me a baseball hater. Like, that couldn't be further from the truth,
Bro, we love baseball. We love baseball here. I want to see my Yankees. We're supposed to win the World Series with the.
Please let the Giants be great, But let's be real here. The sport is going down. We brought up several arguments on how they're already going down. It's not like we're pulling this out of our hats. Like, this is real stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm a hater because the commissioner of baseball decides, I'm not going to market anybody. That's cost too much money. I'm going to keep this money to myself.
And then when you look at the player side, they keep going to, oh, well, this isn't what we agreed to in March. March? My guy, it's June. My guy, it's June. It's been months. Why are you still bringing stuff up from March? Like, they sound like that girl that is always picking a fight and bringing up stuff from the past. Like, oh, we dealt with this already. We were moving on.
Yeah, this is him. Yeah,
this is in the past, and it's just sad because it's clearly all coming from greed. Trevor Bauer, and I try to watch baseball. I try to watch that Korean baseball league whenever I can watch it, but I have to watch it on mute because when I go on ESPN and watch this Korean baseball, I don't want to see Trevor Bauer talking about how he's practicing.
He said I gotta watch it on mute.
In this quarantine era, bro, I want to watch baseball. This Korean guy, number 23, just hit a home run that gave his team a 3-run lead. I want to talk about that. I don't know who that guy is. I want to buy his jersey.
You don't want to talk about Trevor Bauer?
I want to talk about Trevor Bauer
and all his hopes and dreams.
And bro, he's a Cincinnati Red. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, you're right. His career's already finished.
It's over. Like,
you don't even know.
Good luck losing in the wild card, sir. Have a great career. Have a great career in Cincinnati. Oh, Yasuo Puig still a free agent? Hot damn. You would never have known. But it's so great to see the NBA and the UFC taking these steps forward. And the UFC's been really aggressive. And I love that they're on top of the testing. NBA already said that players are going to be tested on a regular basis. Although they're putting the trust in the players and saying Disney doesn't want you guys on the rides because of they're opening themselves up to the public. So it's
to the public.
They don't want to. Disney doesn't want to risk any
Jeopardize.
contamination between the public and the players and their families, because you would think that the players are going to bring their families down and they're going to watch them and hang out with them.
Certainly.
It's Disney.
And you never know if one of their wives is pregnant or something.
Yeah.
Or you don't want a child to catch something.
You know, just because the players can't go to Disney doesn't mean their kids and their wives can't go to Disney.
Can't go to Disney. That.
So I mean, that's good on them, but it's just sad to see MLB and we mentioned before, they announced Fight Island, NBA in Orlando. They didn't even the last thing, the hardest thing is the last thing, and that's the coronavirus testing. The point was we gotta get our sport back. We gotta start having fans watch it again.
And real quick, George. And real quick, to chime in here, to go back to the UFC, just 1 second. Yeah. I like how Dana said, like, throughout this whole pandemic, you know, they haven't stopped a thing. Mm-hmm. Dana said on First Take, I haven't asked any of my fighters to take a pay cut, period. You know, he's paying them what they were supposed to get, you know, and it's partly due to that he probably dipped it into their funds, you know, the UFC funds and, you know, savings and such like that to make sure his fighters get paid. But the key thing is they're getting paid. Yeah. You know, those who are asking for more money and being greedy, those are the fighters on the outskirts not getting fights. You know, and it's almost like that for baseball. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's like at some point in time, if you really want to play baseball and you're a player, you're going to play for whatever you know. All right, I got to take a half salary, you know, because the pandemic happened. Like, we're all human. We all understand this stuff.
Yeah, and I understand that, you know, the collective bargaining agreement expires next year. Technically, after the season ends, it expires. So it's like, all right, you know, I get you don't want to agree to anything right now where they're going to be like, well, during the CBA negotiations, like, well, we gave you this during the pandemic, so now you're going to have to let us, or you're going to have to give us something like that. Bro, it doesn't matter. You'll deal with the CBA when the CBA comes. When that expires, you can strike next year, but this year, more than ever, you had the chance in March when it first happened to have games with no fans. You already had the plan in set. It's so funny, too, because MLB had the plan in motion to play in Arizona and in Florida, and there were spring training parks with no fans, no attendance, just the players and the managers. Yeah. They weren't even talking about testing yet. You had that plan. Players said no. We want to get paid. Months have gone on. Even the owners are just saying we can cancel the season. We don't care. Like, y'all don't want to agree to our terms. We want 50 games. You want 80. Now there's room. Everyone on each side is leaking stuff from the email conversations. It's like, at this point, bro, grow up, because now your sport is gonna. People are just probably gonna play MLB The Show if you're lucky. if you're lucky, because after opening day, that first game is gonna be packed, but the rest of that series is gonna be empty, and then the stadiums are gonna be empty, and then everyone's gonna forget what Michael K sounds like in New York. So it's just sad, and I hope MLB. I honestly don't think they're gonna return this season, because it's already too late. We're entering the summer. For them to, we talked about the proposals that the players put out that the owners declined.
And we're 3 months away from their playoffs. You know, like, we're 3 months away from playing baseball playoffs. And you say what you want, no baseball commissioner, higher up, head office person is gonna have games playing when football and basketball are playing. I'll tell you that now. So they already know.
The NFL, and you mentioned that Dana White is going things as usual with his fights. The NFL is doing the same thing. Roger Goodell said, "We're going through things as if there's going to be fans in attendance, and we have plans in place if there are no fans." And you already look at different states already at half capacity for their restaurants and bars and nightclubs. Yeah. So you already know NFL is going to be like, "All right, well, we'll get our fans back. We'll set security protocols, whatever we need." So it's just sad for the state of baseball. I don't know, what else do you have to add, Roll?
No, we basically covered it all. Like you said, just sad that it even comes down to this. I'm with you on the bandwagon of, I don't believe the season's going to resume this year. I think we're going to have a baseball this season, and it'll just due to the baseball players coming into, they're not going to take less money, and they want a certain amount of games being played, and They want the length of their contract, and the owner's saying, "No, we want this. We want you to take a pay cut." And I mean, at this point in time, if it wasn't gonna get done, if it didn't get done 2 months ago, it's not gonna get done now. You know, that's how I kind of see it.
Yeah. So if for something for the fans, if you guys want to see our reactions to UFC Fight Island, we won't be able to show the actual fight, but we could do a YouTube recording like we did for the NFL draft.
We could do that.
You could see our recordings if you'd like. Well, hit us in the comments on YouTube, DM us on Twitter,
Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Instagram. Hit us up in our DMs. Slide in our DMs on Instagram at Off the Bench Pod. Make sure you're following the Instagram, and we just want to. If you guys want to see that, let us know. We'd love to do a live stream for you guys. But as of right now, that's it for us at Off the Bench. Follow us on Instagram, like I said before, at Off the Bench Pod. Follow us on Facebook, at Off the Bench Pod yet again. And if you're listening, follow us on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. All right, role players, bench players, whatever. We're gonna figure out a nickname for the 60 plus of you.
We got this.
We'll figure it out. We'll take the week to do it. But until then, we'll catch you guys next time. This is Jorge. Roll, say goodbye to the people.
Thank you, people. Stay safe out there. Crazy times right now. Stay safe, guys. Keep your heads on your shoulders. Don't do anything irrational. And we shall see you in the next episode.
See you guys next time.